Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to you all. I'm pleased to have you join us today. My name's Harleen, and I'll be your host for today's session. I hope you're all having a great day so far and are now excited and ready for the brand new session of the Ask the Expert series organized by the Institute of Product Leadership. Today's session is on key insights on hiring young management professionals. Once our speaker for today presents his insights, we'll open up for questions, right? So you can post your questions in the chat window on Zoom. This session is also being streamed live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So viewers on either of these channels, you're welcome to post your comments, questions in the comment section, and I can share them with our speaker. Before we begin today's session, I'd like to give you all a quick introduction to the Institute. The Institute of Product Leadership is Asia's first business school providing accredited degree programs and certification courses in product management, product leadership, technology management, design, strategy, and leadership. The Institute has partnered with multiple universities and was founded in 2012 with a singular mission of creating 10,000 product leaders in the country. Ever since, the organization has designed and delivered programs in collaboration with various institutes, universities, and corporates to working professionals to help them make career transitions into product leadership. The Institute has also built and developed a community of over 4,500 plus successful alumni leading the product, data, and design teams across the world across 600 plus companies. You can find out more about the Institute and the programs offered on our website. The Institute has something that might interest a lot of you here. We're offering a program that is the MBA in Technology Management. This program is a unique, industry integrated, and career outcome focused, and also a UGC accredited degree program for early career professionals. The entire curriculum, the pedagogy, and the structure and design of this program is guided with the Techno Business Leadership Council consisting of technology and business leaders from different organizations. As you can see on your screen, these are the people who have put together this entire course and are like, yeah. One of the Techno Business Leader Council members is our speaker for today. So without further ado, I'd like to kickstart this session by welcoming and introducing our speaker, Mr. Niranjan. Niranjan is a principal product manager at Microsoft, currently shaping the future of ERP ecosystems. He has previously led the integration and empowering enterprise teams to drive impactful data-informed decisions. With deep expertise across cloud services, enterprise mobility, BI, ML, and UX, Niranjan brings a well-rounded lens to building scalable enterprise-grade solutions. We're so pleased to have you join us this evening, Niranjan.
Thank you, Harleen. Thanks for the introduction.
Of course. I'll just stop sharing my screen so you can go ahead and we can get the session started.
Let me share my screen and let me know when you all could see how everyone are doing. Hope everybody had a great Tuesday. And let me share my screen. Harleen, give me a thumbs up as soon as it is up. You can see.
Yeah, your deck's visible.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm delighted to be part of this particular session where we are talking about key insights on hiring young management professionals. When Harleen, Vishal, and Monisha from IPL approached to conduct this particular session, I was just thinking, hey, I mean, what I could talk about, right? Because this is a session where we are going to talk about 30 to 35 minutes of my insights followed by your Q&A. So what I thought was, hey, let me go through my journey and see if it resonates with any one of you. And also by going through my journey, I wanted to also touch upon few topics and also demystify two things so that it will help you land your dream job in management, in management positions in multiple companies out there, right? So my journey, I started as a software engineer in telecom domain primarily, and about 12 years I was in telecom domain. From software engineer, I became a project manager, so where I was managing a few projects for multinationals like Nokia, Alcatel-Lucent, Siemens. From then, I took a turn and joined Microsoft and spent about 5 years as a program manager for internal programs within Microsoft. Then I took another turn within Microsoft itself, since it is huge. I mean, it offers a lot of opportunities for the people to change careers, switch the activities which one would be doing. I became a product manager for an enterprise product, and I'm running with that from past 5 years. So if you look at my journey, there are 3 manager positions which I dealt with: project manager, program manager, and a product manager. When I was joining Microsoft as a program manager with a title called senior program manager. I was just wondering, hey, what is this title all about? What is the expectations of this particular role could be? The experience what I had was only about I'm project manager, and that's what I knew at the point of time. Now I realized that, hey, I mean, there is something called program manager. Let me know, let me understand what exactly it is, and try to make a marking. So it is a subject or a topic where it needs a bit of a demystifying to differentiate what a project manager is, what a program manager is, and what a product manager is, which I feel is promising to create 10,000 product leaders, which is a fantastic mission statement, which at least I personally relate to, because there is a lot of opportunity in this particular area, right? So there are three, let me, yeah. Okay, let me see. Do you still see my sharing?
Sorry, Niranjan?
Can you still see my screen? Because something went off.
Yeah, I can see your screen. I can see the project, program, and product.
Okay, fine. Okay. So given that, let me stop and share again, because I'm not able to see my screen for myself. Me being a Teams person, I went this Zoom is a bit. Okay. Okay. So now I think we are back. Okay. So let me give you a quick overview of what are these 3 disciplines looks like: a project manager, a program manager, and a product manager. At a broad term, right? So a product manager is someone who primarily deals with why and what of the product, right? It could be an enterprise product, it could be a consumer product, it could be anything. So each one of us I'm assuming people are in tech domain, but these days every other company needs to be tech, right? I mean, so they are supposed to run products. They are supposed to even it could be a manufacturing product as well. So there is a product to me, right? So the role which defines why and what of the particular product is primarily dealt by a project manager role, right? And a program manager is primarily, you can imagine like this particular role primarily looks for how and when, right? So these days we do have differentiation of at a program manager level as well, where we call technical program managers, functional program managers, and only a program manager as a role. Each one has its own nuances, but broadly, what a program manager would deal would be like how and when, right? I mean, how the vision which has been identified about the product is going to be delivered and when it is going to be delivered, right? I mean, defining the priority of it, ensuring that it aligns to what customers are looking for. So that will be a primary goal for a program manager. And what is a project manager? So project manager is primarily a role which is primarily dealing with an execution, right? And it could be primarily observed in services companies where you are responsible of certain projects within certain resources and certain deadlines, right? And you sign a contract. I mean, you in the sense your company has signed a contract with your customer, and you are trying to execute it, and you are responsible for that execution of that particular requirement for the project which has been given to you, right? So that is the role of a project manager. So it is primarily an execution driven, and program manager talked about how and when, product manager talked about why and what. You might ask, saying that, yeah, I mean, is the program manager and product manager don't deal with execution? No, that's not what I meant. Because no matter how grand your vision is, no matter how grand your plans are for your release, unless execution is successful, you'll go nowhere, right? So execution is part and parcel of all the programs, all the roles, whatever we have. You need to deliver things. That is the primary responsibility. But there are other roles which actually deals with an execution primarily in product manager and program manager. So there are other roles which like engineering leaders would take a higher responsibility in this particular case. Let me look at the next things, right? I mean, what generally a product manager looks at. Product manager looks at product roadmap. Program manager looks at product release cycle. Project manager deals with project plan, right? So project plans are when you're going to start something, what are the tasks which are assigned to a resource, what is the dependency, what is the critical path. All those things are being dealt by a project manager in project plan. And program manager deals with product release cycle. So release cycles include when I'm going to start particular feature and when I'm going to deliver it. All those details would be dealt by a program manager during product release cycles and release work, right? And coming to product roadmap. So product roadmap is primarily external facing. So external facing, since it is like you're going to give a direction as a product manager, you're going to define saying that broadly we are heading in this direction. This is the areas where we are investing. This is the primary goal which you are trying to achieve with this particular product. So that would be the kind of decisions which a product manager would take. And a project manager will generally have a delivery team, and project manager will play a role of that particular team's advocate, right? So generally, project manager will be an engineering manager as well during implementation, and the project manager will become the delivery team advocate. And program manager, since the program manager is responsible for how and when, the program manager would be a solution advocate. You can also consider program manager as a person who is responsible for implementing multiple products in a company as well. So that is also in few companies we call them as program managers. That means a program manager should be able to understand a solution. Program manager should be able to understand like how each and every product would interact with each other, right? So that we call it as a solution, and program manager will be primarily responsible for advocating in bringing in right solution for the customers. And product manager is a customer advocate. So the primary goal of a product manager would be to bring in the value of the what customers are looking for and become a customer advocate, right? And a product manager would be primarily a persona focused. Program manager would be performance focused, and project manager would be a delivery focused, right? Optimizing the delivery and how we want to achieve it, right? So persona means and like the target persona to whom you are going to build a product, that is called a persona. And product manager would be primarily focusing on deeply understanding the jobs to be done of that particular persona, understand the pain points, and try to define a solution for those pain points, right? And program manager, since they are solution focused, they would be highly interested to understand, hey, I mean, how can my solution scale? How can my product scale, right? What are the things which I would consider to make it work for, say, and if it is serving 10,000 users now, can it serve to 1 million users, right? What do we need to do to make it happen? That would be a program manager role. And project manager, primarily delivery focus, in the sense how optimally I could deliver that particular project, which I took up as a project manager, and ensure that your team is delivering it right with the right quality and also meeting all customer requirements, right? And when it comes to the authority on the team and having a team for execution, project manager has generally and full authority of the team, where they will be responsible even for the people management aspect of the team. A program manager, in some companies, it also involves people management, but in some companies, there will be a separate role called a people manager who deals with people management, and program manager is only have an influence. Product manager primarily is a role where there is an influence but without authority. So there is a lot to be done as a product manager with respect to giving the needed vision to the team, inspiring them, and making it attractive even for the internal talent. So it is primarily a job where you need to influence without authority. You need to understand organization dynamics. You need to understand organization behavior. You need to understand how multi-teams and multi-discipline teams will function with each other, right? So the skills which are needed are a little bit different. So if you look at this, even though there is a manager term in each and every role, the kind of expectations or the kind of a role each one of them is going to play are quite different, right? So if you are applying or are aspiring to become any one of these three managers kind of roles, just keep that in mind, right? So now let me jump to an adaptive productization process, and I tied back why I'm trying to show this. So this is a proprietary trademark process of Institute of Product Leadership, which I truly believe that, I mean, this is a fantastic way of putting things together and give a perspective of how a product is built. And in each of those sections, what you see here with different colors, right? There is an opportunity for all the three roles. So that's the kind of mapping which I would like to bring in and see if it makes sense to you, right? So let's start with the market analysis and choosing to build, right? So this is an area where you need to build a product and you need to understand the market. You need to understand the customer insights, validation with your customers, do a market research, and understand whether there is a business here, right? I mean, and also whether choosing a build is a critical functionality to critical role or critical aspect of a product building where you really need to understand what exactly you want to build as a solution, right? So in this particular section, if a company is working in this particular area as a services, or if a company is building a product, maybe consumer or even enterprise, in all these scenarios, there is a role which defines this particular vision, which is a product manager role. There is a role which defines how multiple things will work together. That is a program manager role. And there is a role which actually executes that particular project. Suppose if you are doing a market research, that market research is a project by itself, right? And somebody needs to run it. And so there is a role which actually deals with it. And there are companies who only strive doing those kind of market analysis kind of a projects, right? Similarly, let's move to strategic planning. And strategic planning primarily are the people or the companies you can imagine, like consulting companies like Big Four, who actually give you an TAM, target market size, product strategy, help you build, help you define a strategy for your product. What is the pricing? What is the business model? So there is a consulting option here as well, along with the other three manager roles. But even in the consulting option, you do have a possibility of and considering it as a project of a consulting is a project by itself. A consulting project is a project by itself. And if there is a program which you're running which runs multiple projects, that is a program manager. And consulting also has to have an understanding of how a product is built. Similarly, in a product planning situation, right? In a product planning situation, you do have a need to understand personas. What is the requirements of that particular person? What are the pain points of that particular persona? What would be the user experience of that particular feature or the capability which you're trying to build? And also define the product roadmap, right? So this is the area where primarily a product manager as a role would cherish, I would say. But at the same time, there is a need for program and a project manager as well for in the pockets of the capabilities which are being built here, right? And go to market, right? So go to market it is not sufficient for you to envision, plan, and build. Go to market is a leg of your product in the productization process, which is very important, where you're going to take something to market and how you're going to build it, right? So it's like somebody's trying to so in a go-to-market scenario, like you need to understand that, hey, I mean, this is what is the approach I'm going to take as a company for the product which I build. I'm going to rely on my partners or I'm going to sell myself. If I'm going to sell myself, whether I'm going to have a marketing and sales team which can cover the wide all the geographies which I'm dealing with. How do I position my particular product and what are the marketing plan I'm going to derive for it, and how do I launch? How do I engage my customers? How do I acquire my customers? It is that entire go-to-market plan. The roles which we call them as marketing managers or go-to-market managers or growth managers are a flavors of a product manager, right? I would say that a product manager should understand even these aspects of product building as well. And sales enablement, right? I mean, how do you actually deal with your sales? How do you sell effectively? The lead generation. How are you going to have your customers? How are you going to acquire your customers? How do you maintain the relationship? All those aspects are which actually define how you are going to enable your sales, right? So this is an whirlwind of how a product is built, and I think IPL will teach this for a semester. We had 10 minutes to talk about this. I don't expect you to internalize everything, but if there is one thing which I want you to take out from this particular picture is that this entire 5 circles, whatever you see here, 5 sections of the pie chart, whatever you see here, are the different aspects of business where multiple companies are going to operate, and there are roles and responsibilities of the managers who are going to play in that particular section of that particular company. And you having an understanding of what is expected by that company, what is the role, what is the goal of that particular company before you apply for those companies, for those jobs. It is imperative for you to understand what exactly that particular company is after and what is your role expecting you to do, right? And generally, this will be in and around a product. It will be consumer or an enterprise, or even giving a services for a particular product, right? So keep that in mind. Keep these 5 pie charts in mind, and have an understanding that it is building a product is not just a vision and having a good idea. You need to get every piece of it right for you to build and deliver a successful product, right? Now, since we understood there are 3 different roles, like project manager, program manager, and then product manager. What I am going to do now is that, and also related to how a product is built and what are the different aspects of your productization process. Let me go ahead and give you. I had project managers in my career. I also had program managers in my career. I also had product managers in my career. So I thought I will give you a glimpse of me as a person who is hiring for a project manager. What do I expect? What do I see? What do I look to see in that particular person? And what do you look to see as a program manager? What do you look to see as a product manager as a person? Right? So let me give a glimpse of that. It may not be a wide variety of list of items, but it will give you an understanding of what generally is expected, and you can plan your preparation aligning to the needs. These needs which will broadly cover and very good project program or a product manager, right? So when we are actually hiring a project manager, we'll try to understand, hey, given a situation, how well a person is going to plan, right? And when we are hiring a program manager, in the complexity of the things, how a program manager is capable to arrive at phasing of different situations, right? Of a product. And product manager is primarily to arrive at capable to arrive at a vision, capable to arrive at a value proposition of something, right? Generally, we will give an example problem or an unknown problem, or build something or give an opinion of about a project or product. And if you are to define a value proposition of that particular product, what do you do? How do you define, right? So that is a kind of, we will kind of validate how well a product manager can arrive at a vision of a product. So that is something which we'll look. Or if you are actually hiring for some other already a product manager, we'll try to understand how well the person is able to talk about the vision of the previous product which they worked, right? And in a project manager scenario, we'll try to assess whether a project manager is able to understand the requirement, right? In many situations, the requirements will be given to the project manager and they're supposed to execute on them, right? So it is very important to assess how well a project manager can understand the requirement. And in a program manager, right, since it is solutioning or building something well, right? So we do look for given bunch of requirements are given an vision and the road the requirements of the customers for a product. Is program manager able to identify capabilities, a common capabilities which can be built, which can be used in multiple situations, right? An ability to break that into capabilities is a skill which we look for. And for a product manager, product manager should actually fall in love with the problem, right? So that's what we say, right? Unless you really understand the problem well, you will not be able to define a product well, right? So understanding a real problem is a key for the entire set of actions which happens later, right? So capability to discover a problem, right? Capability to identify a problem in a given situation. So generally we look for, hey, I mean, if you're using a product, how do you find any gaps there? Or we'll give a vague problem statement and try to see whether the product manager candidate is digging deep and trying to understand what exactly I'm trying to build or asking to build, right? So problem discovery is a key skill which a product manager should have. And a project manager generally deals with a dependency management, who should be good with dependency management. We try to assess how well a person is able to identify the dependency between multiple situations, multiple people, multiple business processes in the project, or what exactly is happening there, right? As a program manager, should be able to connect the systems, whether the person is ready to, is capable of identifying the opportunities to bring multiple products and build a solution out of it, right? How well they are able to understand how an organization functions, right? As a product manager, we generally assess whether the person is able to get to a target persona by understanding the problem, understanding the from the list of personas, what is the target persona which they're going to go after, because that will become a key for identifying the pain points, and that will become a key for even defining the solutions for those pains, right? So identifying and very good target persona will become a very critical need for an product manager. There is a myth primarily in product managers, as far as I've seen, that, hey, I mean, I'll just give a vision, I'll just talk about bold statements, I'll just give you an overview of what needs to be built, and then give you one-liners as a requirement, and my tech team will take care of building it. No, I mean, you as a product manager, if you say that, I mean, that is a first place where you are going to you're gonna, because you need to influence without authority, right? So right back to that particular need as a product manager. So you definitely need to understand a broad tech knowledge. You need not understand at a coding level if you are talking about in software or even digital product manager. Even in a manufacturing or any other scenario, I can very well say with confidence that as a product manager, you need to understand how tech functions, right? Execution, you can leave it to your technical team, but you need to understand, you should be able to have a conversation with a software engineer about and how that particular API would function with an equal ease when you, and where you are translating that particular requirement to an CXO or CEO level candidate people, where you transform that into a language which and C-level people would understand, right? So unless you understand broad technical things, you will not be able to do a justice there. Same is the case in manufacturing as well. You need to understand how a product is built, what goes into that, so that you'll be able to have a conversation with a customer pretty confidently. When it comes to program manager, they primarily deal with technical design, and if the role says technical program manager, your role would be primarily to understand the interdependencies and also arrive at a technical design. So a bit, I mean, it is not coding and it is not broad system design. It is primarily a technical design of how system would talk to each other, maybe how your cache functions, right? How well your APIs will interact with each other, or the different systems, how well they interact with each other. So all those capabilities you might need to understand as a program manager or a technical program manager. But as a project manager, you definitely need to understand the technology of the project which you're executing, if not broader, right? So you definitely need to have an understanding of that project tech so that you can represent your team and also lead that particular team for success. And we'll also look for in a project manager how well the person is able to lead a team. So that means the human skill, the soft skills, a capability to influence and not influence, but I mean, I would say that how well they can lead a team, right? A team managing capabilities. All those things would be very critical for a project manager situation, right? And in a program manager, how well you can influence a team. I mean, that means you need to have a good understanding of the tech to be able to converse with the team, right? So then only you can do influence. And in product manager situation, if your vision is clear, and if your argument of persona, the pain point, and your customer needs, what you identified is backed by data, backed by research, and if you are able to inspire your team, you will make wonders out of it, right? So that is a key skill where you need to influence without an authority, and this is a skill by itself, right? This also will be assessed. For all the three roles, learnability, clarity of thought, executive presence, integrity, and confidence is something which generally will be looked at. So this I'm talking about in a general terms, and this is not the only list of items which you need to be good at. For each vertical or each part of the pie which we have seen before in the previous slide, you definitely need to understand what exactly that particular piece of a pie looks like, and might need the specific domain skills of that particular area, and also the domain which the company whom we are applying for. So this is a broad level of needs which you will look for, whether it's a project manager, program manager, or a product manager. So I think this is what I had, and let us open it for Q&A, Harleen.
Great. Thank you, Niranjan, for your wonderful insights. I like how I feel like you distinguished all three roles so well and so distinctly. That was very interesting. Everyone, you're very welcome to post your questions here in the chat on Zoom, or if you're on LinkedIn in the comment section. Right? You're also very welcome. People here on Zoom are also very welcome to go ahead and unmute yourselves if you'd want to and just ask your question, right? Instead of typing it out. You're very welcome to do that too. We'd love to see you as well. So please feel free to ask any questions. Let me just check if we have anything on the other apps. Oh, we have one question from Saurabh who has asked, what does Microsoft look for in a candidate for a product manager role?
Yeah, I think I covered in my talk, and what I spoke about, if I just go back and see the capability to do and problem discovery, understanding a target persona, broad technical knowledge, capability to arrive at a vision, capability to arrive at a value proposition, capability to understand what exactly we're trying to build, and how well you can internalize that particular problem which is given to you, right? So those are the things which we definitely look for in a product manager. And of course, the rest of the key capabilities, whatever I talked about, like learnability, clarity of thought, confidence, integrity, executive presence, all those would matter. Generally, if you drop a resume with your list of products or the projects which you worked on before, we'll start with an understanding of those things, and we could dig deep into that and try to understand or assess how well you are with this particular situation. If the product is interesting, which you worked before, or it could be an brand new problem which is given to you, which is which you might have to think then and there, so that spontaneity also would be checked, right? And also how well you can bring clarity in a chaos, right? That means to check that a very vague estimation problem would be given and how well you are able to think. So in a product manager interviews, there's no one right answer for a question, right? So that is a very important thing to keep in mind. The primary thing which will be assessed would be your thought process, right? So keep the conversation going with your interviewer. It is not like if the question is asked, it is not expected you to think for 1 minute and give a right answer. That is not the way which you need to approach. You need to have a conversation. You need to arrive at the problem, what exactly is the problem you are trying to arrive at, understand it a bit more, and approach it methodically, and then you have a chance. Hope that answers.
Thanks for that, Niranjan. We have Anshra who has asked, what are some key pointers that a beginner should focus on while beginning to learn project management?
Yeah, I mean, when I say beginner, I'm assuming that the person is is already into that particular domain, as maybe if it is an tech industry as a software engineer, to understand the situation, to understand the tech generally. So as a project manager, it is a step forward from an beginner software engineer to a project manager. So generally, people will not land in a company as a project manager to start with, unless you had a previous experience and did an MBA and have an understanding of how the organization behaves, how the team behaves, and somebody want to give a chance. It is typically you need to have an experience of what you're actually dealing with. So the expectation of a project manager would be in that particular situation, that how well you managed your teams before, like how well you delivered success. What was the situations which you dealt in during your project execution? So because if you had, if you are a beginner, you will not have an experience, obviously, but at the same time, given an hypothetical situation, how you are going to handle that particular situation would be assessed. If I take an example, suppose you are applying for a project manager in a tech company like in Infosys, and there could be a question where they can ask you saying that, yeah, you are delivering one critical project and one of your critical resource resigns. How do you deal that particular situation, right? Or in a manufacturing industry, there is one of the important critical part, you deal with that particular situation, right? So situational awareness would be something which will be definitely validated in a project manager situation, whether you are a beginner or you're an experienced. Experience, you will talk about your stories. A beginner, you will talk about your how you can think in that particular situation would be assessed.
Okay, thanks, Niranjan. We have Nagendra next, who has asked who has first said that the market is very competitive. So, how to stand out from the crowd?
Yeah, how to stand out from crowd is that there's no secret sauce here. Sense felt, right? LinkedIn is a fantastic platform for you to make your presence felt. You are since if the same question was asked 5 years back, I would have told a different answer. But now I can confidently say that half of your resume validation would happen on LinkedIn, right? Or a similar kind of a platform, right? So make your presence felt. Since you are the people the audience in this particular meeting is primarily a manager kind of a position, would you expect there is an online presence for you and you have your opinion on few things? And also, if you are onto an open source kind of a thing, make your presence felt there as well in, say, GitHub. How exactly you're contributing to those questions, wherever, right? I mean, make your presence felt would be one response, I would say. And also, when you are approaching for a position, right? Don't just bombard with a CV saying that, hey, I mean, here is my CV. Just go and look for what you are looking for, right? So your hiring manager would be receiving 100 such CVs, right? Just imagine yourself in their shoes and see how you can distinguish yourself. Whether you want to give an intro that, hey, I mean, why do you think that you are best fit for the particular position, right? You want to give a brief, what exactly that particular person is looking for. If you are able to strike the card, there is a chance. So these are a couple of suggestions I might have for this. Hope that answers, Nagan.
Thanks, Niranjan. We have Pushpa who has asked, is it a good move to move, is it a good idea to move from to being a product manager from test automation after 16 years of experience? I
missed that the question. Can you repeat it again?
Pushpa is saying they have 16 years of experience in test automation. Is it a good move to do product management now?
See, that depends. I mean, product management, as I said, right? I mean, it has its own needs and the capabilities, right? So if one has spent so much amount of time in certain domain, right? I mean, in this case, it is test, but it could be something else. Just see if there are still opportunities in that particular area if you want to grow your career in that particular area, right? If you don't see them, right? One place where you could look for is that if you are planning to go to product management for such things, right? Look for companies who are building tools for test management, in this case, tests, right? So there are companies who are actually interested to hire a person who has experience in test and test management to build the product for that particular domain. So there is a right place to go. But if you try to go into a different domain altogether, may be difficult, I would say. But if you are trying for a product building for a related domain of building test tools, that is something which you can look for.
Thank you, Niranjan. We have Harsh, who has asked, what are the must skills that a person who is coming from a non-tech background have to make a career in product management?
Yeah, I mean, if a person is coming from a non-tech background, as I said, there is a need for people to understand a broad tech. If not from a technical domain, technical background, you should be able to converse technology as well. Only then you have a chance in a product management if it is a tech product management. But if you're talking about an manufacturing product management, that's a different ballgame. Even there is quite a bit of a tech these days, right? I mean, right from your PLM to product lifecycle management to using the tools which are there in your manufacturing cycle, you need to be a bit of a tech savvy. So I don't want to give an picture saying that yeah, it's okay, you don't need tech, right? I mean, tech is needed. That is given, even I would say, right? But if you want to make a move into a product management domain coming from a different background, you can definitely do like the previous answer, I would say, to places or the products where they are building products in that particular domain, right? You build a career in a non-tech domain, and there are products which are built for that. and they would definitely need experts who understand that particular domain functionally. Suppose you are from a bank, right? And you do understand your bank transactions, how you understand how your P&L works, how an audit system works. A company which is building an audit system for banks would love to have you on board, right? A company which is building an fintech will be more than happy to take this a person with very good functional background on board, right? So this all depends on how you position yourself, and also how well you are well versed with what exactly is expected of that particular role and how you are delivering, right, during your interview. Next question.
Hello, sorry, I was just facing some internet issues. I think we had a question. We had a couple of questions from Neela, who asked, at what level of experience do you need to have to enter product management in Microsoft? And are there any entry-level roles for product managers?
Okay, so let me answer the first one, and second one I'll take. You can repeat that. So, I mean, for a product manager kind of role in Microsoft, Microsoft generally goes to these schools for hiring for such people. So that actually, to an extent, nullifies the experience need. Suppose one is coming out of an ISB with 2 years of experience, and an experience in ISB could be a good entry-level product manager in Microsoft, right? So, and a person who is coming out of an elite B schools would make a mark in an entry-level product manager role within Microsoft. But if you are looking for an experienced role, then definitely, even if you, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that for an entry role, B schools is the route. For an experienced role, even though you don't have any B school experience, but your credentials speaks out, right? That you had a good experience in any other company and you are able to make a mark. That also can be a route where you can get into an entry-level product management in Microsoft. So what was the second part of the question, Helen?
The second part was about entry-level roles in product management at Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean, the entry-level roles, the name itself is product manager. Product managers, there are different levels. Product manager 1, 2, we call them, right? So if you don't have anything, it is product manager, and there's product manager 1, 2, senior product manager, principal, and each level has multiple layers. So it is not one title will have multiple layers to it. So that is a entry level is called a product manager.
Great, thanks, Niranjan. I don't see any other questions, so I think we can start to just wrap up this session. Just give me a second.
Yep. Okay, so that's all I had to share today, and hope this was useful for the people. Let us know how do you find it, because this is something which Capel is also trying it out, and let's see how it goes.
No, just give me a second. I'm trying to share my screen, but
yes,
that's not happening. Okay. I'm sure everyone had a very fruitful time at this session, Niranjan. You provided some wonderful insights and takeaways, and you gave such an in-depth understanding of each of the roles. So we really appreciate that. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your insights from all your expertise. The Institute, please accept this certificate of appreciation on behalf of the Institute. I'll make sure to send this across to you via email later.
Thank you so much, Harleen. And thanks to Sai.
Thank you.
Give my regards to.
We have one question again.
Yeah.
I think we can just take that. Nagendra, what role should I target if my strength is strategic thinking and communication?
Strategic thinking and communication. Okay, so I would say that marketing roles, the BN and best fit in that situation, right? And marketing, even in marketing, we do have marketing managers, marketing product managers, marketing project managers, marketing and program managers, as I said before. But in that situation, if your strength is strategic thinking and communication, you can definitely try out in the marketing area, because most of the people build great products, but they will not be able to transform the same or translate the same into as a marketing moment for the end customer. They will not be able to tell what is the value proposition for their product well, right? So that would be a good place to start.
Okay, great. Thanks, Niranjan. Wait, just before we wrap up, that was all for today's session. Thank you all for joining in, right? I'll just share my screen again. As I mentioned earlier, the MBA in Technology Management is a highly specialized, it's actually a program that's unique, industry integrated, and career outcome focused, and is also a UGC accredited degree program for early career professionals. You can download the brochure by scanning the QR code that's on your screen right now. And if you would like to get any more information or details about the Institute or this course and the other courses that we offer as well, right? The MBA in Technology Management that is aimed at early career professionals is a highly specialized program that brings together technology and AI skills and also management and business skills to prepare the learners and make them ready to manage technology initiatives, digital transformation projects, and digital products. Some unique things about this program is that it's firstly highly experiential learning program where the learners will get to work in multiple advanced labs like technology labs and analytic labs, AI labs, and also innovation labs, where each participant will get an opportunity to work in 2 paid internships in real companies on real projects. The faculty of this program are all global practitioners who have built companies, built products, built various, and are entrepreneurs and senior level executives. And this program also provides a 100% job guarantee. So if you're interested in the course of the MBA in Technology Management and you want to find out more, please scan the QR code that's on your screen, right? I think we can wrap up this session now. I thank you all for joining us today. And I'm sure you all had a fruitful time here listening to Niranjan and had a lot of takeaways from his insights. If you would be kind enough to scan the QR code that's visible on your screen and leave us any feedback, reviews, any thoughts from today's this session, we'd really appreciate it. I'll wait here for a couple of seconds so you guys can go ahead and scan this, right? Okay, great. I'll finally wrap up now. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. I look forward to hosting you at future events at the Institute of Product Leadership.
Thank you, everyone. See you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Niranjan.
All the best.